bumper car. This seat is not really attached to anything, it just kind of slides in. It's got like a backrest portion here, and then the actual spot where you sit on just kind of pops right up. And it's pretty nasty. It's been sitting in some guy's yard. But you can see the wheel down over here. Is one of the caster wheels, and the other one right here. It's got a nice little 3-inch high cutout. Looks like it comes out pretty easy. Got a small step up for the bench seat, which buys me a little bit of room, because if I put a live axle through there, I'm going to have to cut out the middle a little bit for the gear. You know, it's a big sprocket gear, and probably, you know, put a disc brake on it, I'm thinking. So the disc, the caliper is going to need a little bit of room. And then you can see behind here, it's got a little bit of a compartment in there, and you can see the wall that I was talking about hitting. That could be cut down, I suppose, too, which is pretty advantageous. The cage for the back support can be modified as well to make this thing work. The only disappointing thing is, looking at behind the taillight lenses, I noticed there are no lamps. So I'm gonna have to get some lamps too, because I want to have these all lighting up and looking really cool, and have it tied to the braking system. And I could even get crazy and put in turn signals if I wanted to. But it's pretty straightforward. I don't know. If you guys got some ideas, let me know. I'm going to take some more measurements. The 12 inches that you can see that I was talking about is from that steel wall to the center of the back wall, and then towards the top it's more like 11 inches because it's curved. The other thing that I need to worry about too, obviously, is ventilation for the Predator motor. I got 2 holes there in the bottom, which I can, you know, make some sort of exhaust that dumps down to the ground and kind of angled out, so the exhaust won't build up in there, and hopefully not too much excessive heat. I don't know how well a Predator motor runs in a closed case. I don't know if I'm going to have to come up with some sort of cooling or what. Any suggestions? I'm definitely all ears. Okay, so engine recap. Originally we decided against the GY6 motor, which was the moped motor. It was too long to fit in the cavity. Some of the other considerations was to use the original electric motor that came with the go-kart, or the bumper car rather. I'm not sure even what type of electricity that runs on. That's most likely AC current, I think, which could have used an inverter and everything, but I mean, if we look at it, you can see that the motor is a part of the wheel. There's no suspension whatsoever, so it'd be a pretty rough ride and too low to ride on that motor anyway. Other option would be to basically replace the electric motor and use a rear wheel electric motor, which is a possibility. I just didn't want to deal with all the batteries. Then I started looking at other motors. The first motor that I noticed a lot of people using for go-karts was the Predator motor. They sell at Harbor Freight, and it's like $120, and you can get a 20% coupon and get it for like $100. The only issue with it is it's not electric start, and can't run any electronics off of it. So some people go to the length of getting, you know, a coil that fits behind the flywheel to generate electricity, and you can get an electric starter kit. Well, the electric starter kit, if it fits, because there's differences between a Hemi version of that motor and a non-Hemi version of that motor that Harbor Freight sells. It may or may not fit the taper on the drive shaft very well, and it's like 84 bucks anyway. So I went higher ground. Luckily, I found it reading a bunch of go-kart forums and everything. With that Carroll Stream motor, it's an electric motor from the get-go. It's a 6.5 horsepower motor, which is basically the same as a 212cc motor. And I got that motor, I think it was $184 I saw it for on eBay with $32 shipping. I was able to get it cheaper because there was a coupon code, and it wound up coming up to like basically $184 because it was like a 25% off coupon code that I had for eBay. So it worked out advantageously. Essentially, I spent the same amount of money that I would have trying to adapt a motor that may or may not have worked with an electronic starter kit with one that is designed. And plus, kind of like the color scheme better anyway. The Predator motors are all black. This one's, you know, got a red casing and a white, kind of off-white gas tank. So it just, I don't know, I like the colors better. So yeah, it all worked out pretty well. Let's take a look at it. Going through my sockets, just because it's older from the 60s, I was thinking, hey, this is probably standard, right? Everything was standard back then. Well, this is a German manufacturer, so guess what? It's all metric. Number 13 here. To take these bolts out. Okay, that does it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 bolts. And there we go. One bumper car axle. Pretty cool. Since we're dealing with a small slot, it's only a few inches opening, which I have here in my diagram. Let's see, it was only 5 inches wide and 5.5 inches wide before it hits the inner box, which I'm going to cut out too. The height on this is 8 1/4. It's 3 inches wide, 3.5 inches wide. I was just using these as a reference. You can't really use Harbor Freight tires. They're not designed to be go-kart tires. They will fall apart on you. But the wheel size is close to something that I would need to get it to fit in there, which there it is a 4.1 by 3.5-4. And if I cut it out, it'll actually give me a decent amount of height. I don't want to go much higher than that, because I still want it to look like a go-kart, not a go-kart, a bumper car. Rather not a go-kart or four-wheeler, you know, something jacked up. So we're going to go ahead and cut this out a little bit, see what it looks like after we cut it out. Okay, there we got it. We got a little bit more width there. I'm going to go ahead and cut this back all the way. There's a little bit more, a couple more inches right there that I can get back to. All right, opened up. There we are. We'll take and smooth that out after, but for the most part, we got a good start.